and I've spent 3 months. I just finished at Yellow Train, and I just finished the rotational fellowship like a few days ago. And yeah, really looking forward to this conversation and meeting so many fellow story lovers. But yeah, over to you, Ragini and Indrasen, to introduce yourselves.
So I'll go first and फिर इंद्रसेन बोलेगा. मेरा नाम रागिनी है. I work with Muskan. I have worked in the past as a school teacher at the school which is called जीवन शिक्षा पहल. भोपाल में है. और पिछले कुछ सालों से I have been part of the publications part of Muskan's team. So as was mentioned before by Amina कि अलग अलग बाल साहित्य में चिल्ड्रंस लिटरेचर में we often see voices of dominant castes and classes and dominant religions, but where do we find our own stories? So Muskan का एक काम is on publishing children's literature and young adult literature, and I get to work with authors like Indrasen in the process. तो इंद्रसेन भी परिचय दे दे अपना.
मेरा नाम इंद्रसेन पवार है और मेरा नाम इंद्रसेन पवार और मैं 10th क्लास में पढ़ता हूँ मुस्कान में. मुझे 4-5 साल हो गए पढ़ते पढ़ते और मुझे क्विज भी खेलना अच्छा लगता है. बस
कभी कभार
और कभी कभी कहानियां भी लिख देता हूँ.
That's about us.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Indrasen and Ragini. Rigzin.
Hi, Julie, everybody. My name is Rigzin. I'm an educator from Ladakh. I run an organization called Village Lab Foundation. We are based in Nubra Valley, which is pretty close to Siachen, if you've heard. I run a program called Young Readers Program. It's a library-based program in Nubra. And we also have a program called the Ladakhi Way, which emphasize on culturally relevant indigenous education for children in villages in Ladakh. And I am an avid reader. I really like reading books. And recently, I got a chance to publish my first children book. It's called Sonam Goes Sicketing. I'll talk more about it in the during the conversation. Archie is showing the book. But yeah, really fond of books. And now we're working with our learners in producing and writing books and, listening to stories from our elders in the village in Ladakh. So that's been, our journey so far. Looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Ragini, Indrasen, and Rigzin. I just want to start by just how this forum and this conversation came to be. As I think my background, I'm someone who studied literature. I was a literature student, and I've also taught English while I was doing my Teach for India fellowship. And I think often, and of course, I'm a story lover, but often what would happen in the classroom is I found that the stories that we were reading, जो किताबें पढ़ रहे थे, जो books पढ़ रहे थे, जो कहानियां पढ़ रहे थे, they were not very relatable to my children, or whether they were either the context was the way they would say certain words were not relatable, या जिस जगह पे कहानी set थी that was not relatable, या जो characters the way they were behaving, या the things that they liked, the interests that they had, or even very simple things like मम्मी को कैसे बोलते हैं, how do we address our parents, how do we address family, right? Some of these very, very small things would often go missing or, lost in translation. And as I was, and I felt that was a very important part of literacy, of learning to learn how to engage with your surrounding through stories. And as I also did the rotational fellowship, one of the questions I had in one of the schools that I was a part of, where the children came from an Adivasi context, I felt that the stories that they could be learning could be so much more richer if, say, they were about where they were from, or whether they were talking about characters or people or even like animals that they were engaging with, right? So during this process, I think I came across the work done by Rigzin as well. And of course, the work done by Muskan. And I just wanted to see how we can actually think about contextualizing or bringing something of our surrounding in the stories we do in the classroom, and how that process looks like, and just hearing from people who have done it, who have written stories, जिन्होंने कहानियां लिखी हैं, जिन्होंने बच्चों के साथ कहानियां लिखी हैं. So I really wanted that to be, shared with other educators as much as possible. So I just want to start actually with the questions. I want to hear more about what Ragini, Indrasen, and Rigzin have to say. So just starting with a very simple question. What is the importance of stories when it comes to literacy and learning, and why even contextualize, or why bring in the surrounding in our stories? Yeah, anyone can take it up. Yeah.
Okay, so I can go. Or Ragini, do you want Indrasen to go first? Okay.
Please go.
Um, okay, sure. As an educator, right, I've spent like almost 10 years in the education space, and I've seen like learning environments, and like the kind of books and everything that we use, right? And I also grew up reading a lot of books, right? But none of them sort of reflected my way of living, right? And it didn't occur to me in the initial, like, when I was reading or when I was going through my school days, right? But it was very later in my life that I started realizing about like the absence of representation, or the absence of how Ladakhi culture or tradition or anything, like just way of being and living, is never like included. And as a result, I saw a lot of things, and I experienced a lot of things like insecurity or like a lack of self-worth, right? Because I would always aspire to be someone outside of my village, or I would always aspire to to be in a bigger city or in a flashy sort of areas or some stuff like that. So I felt like I started thinking about it later in my life, very late in my life. Why is it so, right? Then I realized that one of the key factors is what you are, like what you consume, right? And what are you being fed, by the society, by the media, by your school, by your institutions. And started thinking about, okay, because I never see a girl like me from a village in Ladakh, I never also could think about a sense of possibility. And that really kind of made me started thinking about like how what do I do, like how can I change it, right? Of course I can't do any, like a massive change in a day or a year, but I thought that how should I start, what can I do? And that's how I started really digging deeper into children literature. I got an opportunity to do a course on children literature at Harvard. That really helped me and shaped the ideas and technicalities of like writing a children book and understanding the importance of contextualization, of children literature. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like my own realization, and then wanting to do something about it, but like just taking a baby step now.
Thank you so much, Rigzin. Ragini, Indrasen, आपको कुछ ऐड करना है?
कहानियाँ अपनी जिंदगी से जुड़ी हुई क्यों लगता है होगी?
क्योंकि कहानियां दीदी को पता थी।
इंद्रसेन, हाँ, थोड़ा सा अगर आप पास में आ जाएंगे माइक से।
दीदी आप
Indrasen is very nervous. It's like you make me write, you make me play frisbee, but don't make me talk. So, तो मैं बोलती हूँ फिर तुम जोड़ना है ना जो मिस होता है। पर मतलब like Akshay, you were saying कि one of the ways in which stories get used is of course language acquiring and literacy, right? Decoding, comprehension, all of that. But that is just one of the purposes that stories, literature, libraries, writing, reading serves in our life. So, matlab, we read because that enables us to think and reading and thinking always goes hand in hand. It enables us to understand the different kinds of stories that exist, the fun that it brings, the interest that it brings. It also allows us to sit with difficult emotions, with sadness, with anger, with rage at systems that we might feel we have been hurt by. So, I mean, language and literacy, of course, in school spaces है ही वो एक मकसद कहानियां का और लाइब्रेरियों का, स्टोरी टेलिंग का, लेकिन वो सिर्फ एक मकसद है ऑफ कहानियों का, है ना। तो मतलब अपनी जिंदगी अगर हमें कहानियों में दिखती है, या rather what Rigzin was saying, that the absence of one's voice or one's life in stories, what does that do, I wonder. जैसे अक्सर हमें दिखता है कि if the image of a child coming from a marginalized location is either unidimensional, so representation for representation's sake, you know, ये डाल तो दिया character, या or if it's exoticized, the Adivasi is always the other, always has to do something fantastical to be accepted in the mainstream, or if it is negatively portrayed, like with a lot of Enid Blyton that I grew up reading, you know, many of us of a certain generation would have grown up reading such books. So, what does that do to I mean, what Rigzin beautifully said? How does that make you feel about yourself? And it's not like it's telling you to feel that way, lekin automatically one is constantly being fed. So like if अगर हम आसपास भोपाल में या किसी भी बड़े शहर में अगर हम किसी भी बुक स्टोर में जाएं, तो आम तौर पे what are the kinds of books in children's literature that we see? Usually they are representing dominant castes, dominant classes, a male, Hindu male, and upper class boy. You know, there's stories that are set in that kind of world, that kind of childhood is being represented. है ना, एक वर्चस्व वाले लोगों की कहानियां ही हमें ज्यादातर दिखती हैं, या फिर we see a lot of mythological tales, of course again coming from a religion. So पंचतंत्र की कहानियां, जातका टेल्स, बीरबल अकबर की कहानियां, things like that. At least in the Central India, North India belt, this is what is normally dominantly consumed as literature. But मतलब यही एक सवाल है कि whose childhood is being represented, and even when we talk about including other childhoods, other realities of life, तो फिर उसको हम किस तरीके से include कर रहे हैं? Is it authentic? Is it portraying life in all its complexity and sensitivity and the richness that any life will have? So ये कुछ मतलब सवाल हैं that contextualizing stories के साथ में come up. पर कहानियां अपनी जिंदगी से जब जुड़ती हैं तो मतलब क्या होता है, या क्या तुझे क्या लगता है कि क्यों जरूरी लगता है?
क्योंकि दीदी जितनी
हाँ,
जितनी भी कहानियां होती है मतलब
In
अलग
the
अलग,
sen, I'm so sorry. हम बिल्कुल नहीं सुन पा रहे in the sen की आवाज.
मतलब जितनी भी कहानियां होती है वो सिर्फ दूसरे लोगों की होती है, बड़े बड़े लोगों की होती है और अलग अलग समाज की होती है, लेकिन हमारे जो हम बोलते हैं तो हमारे समाज की होती ही नहीं है। और जो हम जब पढ़ते हैं कहानियां जो हमारे समाज की, तो हमको भी अच्छा लगता है और अनुभव भी होता है कि हमारे साथ ऐसा हुआ है, ऐसी घटना हुई है। और
तो एक तो मजा आता है।
एक मजा भी आता है पढ़ने में कि अपनी कहानियां हैं, अपने अपनी जाति की कहानियां हैं, और हमारे उसमें हमारे आदिवासियों की लिखी है तो अच्छा भी लगता है पढ़ने में।
Thank you in the sen. Akshi, do you want to just move
Yeah.
ahead?
Thank you. I think stories are so personal because हम लोग एक एक स्टोरी से पर्सनल कनेक्ट भी होता है, पर उसमें लाइक ही सेड कि इंद्रसेन ने भी बोला कि उसकी हमारी आवाज भी होती है, हमें मजा भी आता है हमारे तरह के लोगों को देखने में स्टोरी में। थैंक यू फॉर दैट। बट नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे हम टीचर्स, हम एजुकेटर्स हैं, हाउ कैन वी contextualize stories for our classroom, and what was the process of contextualizing for you? आपने कैसे ये process किया उसमें, and we as teachers, how can we do this process in our classroom, or what are some things जो हमें दिमाग में रखना चाहिए, what are some things we should keep in our mind when we do a process like this? How can we do it, like I think Ragini you said, authentically as well, right? So yeah.
So I'll go, and Rixin, you add, and Indrasen will also add. So मतलब in the experience of Muskan books, what we have found is that the joy that we have is that Muskan book kind of emerged later, but our work in education kind of was the base for that. So because in libraries and in bastis and in school, we always felt that there are no stories to take. Where are the stories that, kind of will represent, will open up conversations and doors and windows for us. So we felt कि अच्छा ठीक है, कहानियां नहीं है, so we have to probably write those stories. And there are many stories that we have to tell, and there are many stories that we have to share. And our stories are our, theories, they are our histories, they are our voices. Our life is lived in these stories. So even this narrative arc, कि बिगनिंग मिडिल एंड एक क्लाइमैक्स, ये इन सबको भी मतलब हमें मतलब फिर से चैलेंज करने की जरूरत है. सो दैट्स हाउ मतलब बारिश का एक दिन वाज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट स्टोरीज दैट मुस्कान had published in 2007 or 8, written by a 13-year-old Jackie Jaknore. That time he was 13. एंड वो भी ऐसे ही एक क्लासरूम एक्टिविटी से ही निकली थी कि जब बस्ती में बाढ़ आ जाती है, बारिश जब बहुत होती है, तो बस्ती में जब पानी भर जाता है, so what happens in the basti, and what happens, Jackie is writing from his life, what happens then when the basti floods. And like often like when the basti floods can evoke sense of sadness, can evoke a very high bichare kind of image, pitiable characters ka image. But what is it that the child is imagining in that situation? How are they negotiating with that? What maza is also happening in that situation? So there's a lot of agency that kind of is foregrounded in these stories. And they are drawing from everyday life. They could be fictionalized. They could be a mix of what's happening in everyday and what the child is imagining them to be. But there's a lot of focus on classroom writing. So even the story that Indrasen will talk about, that has also emerged from writing activities in the classroom, and not like a writing workshop that happens once in a while, but that everyday life needs to be, full of ways to tell our stories orally for younger kids who are just beginning to write. So they'll illustrate their stories. The teachers will sit with them and write it down for them so that they can also see their stories in print, in text, that oh, this is worth telling. And with older kids, then different genres of stories that they might be reading in the library. So how can we also experience that? So I mean, these are some ways that we've been trying in Muskan. But Rigzin, you also share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well said about the lived experiences. I feel like stories are everywhere. It's just like requires a patient, like, listening or a presence, that really needs. But I think, um, just for me as a as an educator, how it started was, first the course also, but I started reading a lot of children book, and very recently, like few years back only, I started reading. I mean, I used to read a lot of books, but like fiction, non-fiction, classic, philosophical, and all of that. But like just immersing yourself into children book is a whole other world altogether, which I really really loved. I started exploring indigenous writers, not just from India, but also from Alaska, and then different parts of the world as well. And I started like seeing those stories and resonate, like starting seeing those like similarities, even if we are so apart from, like, geographically, there are so many nuances and so many things that binds indigenous communities together, like all over the world. So that really fascinated like my own understanding of how stories could become a binding factor for these communities, like for indigenous communities, right? So I started off with really educating myself, and reading a lot of books, and drawing inspirations from writers that I really enjoyed reading. So that was my first, sort of first phase of exploration. When I came back and started Village Lab Foundation, in the beginning, of course, we were not like fully equipped to, like publish a book straight away. But what we started doing is we started changing the names of the characters in the already written stories. Like we had lots of books, but we did not have like all the questions that my learners will ask is what is this, and then I'll just see and it's a name, like it's maybe John, but they wouldn't know like John could be a name, it could be a thing, like things like that. So we started off with a very simple kind of method of just changing the names, the settings, the places, the name of the, like there were like example of food, or things like bagels, and my all my learners was like, what is bagel, so things like that. And we started changing it to like khambir is the traditional, like roti that we have in Ladakh. So we started just changing those small things, and that really shifted something. Now when they read Tashi goes to instead of John goes to, they just like get excited for some reason. So that's how we started, very slowly. And parallelly I was also writing my own book, and that became like a really nice experience for me to understand how children are interacting with books that represent them, not just like the letters, the names, but also visually. When they see the mountains and the yak, they're like, oh, I know these things, but when they see like maybe, I don't know, octopus or something in the high Himalayan region, they would like there are some sort of like sense of familiarity that brings lots of joy when they're reading. So for us, it was very simple, just changing those characters and contextualizing it, and then slowly introducing them to a bigger, like more contextualized kind of contents.
Thank you both of you for sharing. I think in this answer we have covered both the universal aspect of stories and the small everyday aspect of stories, and I think that's very interesting because they bring in both. I want to ask, since both of you have worked with students to create stories, आप दोनों ने students के साथ काम किया है to make stories. How can we involve students as part of this process, either to create stories, to be writers, or maybe include them as characters or as people who are talking, walking, living in the stories, right? So would love for you all to share. And I know ये इंद्रसेन आपके लिए ज्यादा important question है, क्योंकि आप बताओगे आपने कैसे अपनी कहानी लिखी. So yeah, would love for you all to share that.
लिखने की प्रक्रिया में कुछ नहीं।
तो एक दिन मैं 8th क्लास में था, तो मेरी टीचर ने मुझे बोला था कि अगर मतलब सबको ही बोला था, जितने भी बच्चे थे तो उनको, कि तुम्हारे साथ कोई कभी भी बचपन में या कहीं भी कुछ घटना हुई तो उनके बारे में कुछ लिखो, मतलब कहानी लिखो। तो मैंने ये कहानी लिखी थी, तो मुझे भी नहीं पता कैसे छपी कैसे नहीं। तो अगर कोई बच्चा कहानी लिखना चाहता है तो पहली बात तो टीचरों को करना चाहिए उनको, और टीचरों को बताना चाहिए कि कैसे लिखते हैं कैसे नहीं लिखते, उनको समझाना चाहिए।
पर एक बार में थोड़ी कहानी लिख दी थी तुमने, फिर तूने उसमें
तो
सोचा,
हाँ
एडिट किया।
हाँ बहुत एडिट किया, मतलब किया था 2-3 दिन मैंने उसको सोच पहले तो सोचा था, पहले तो घटना सोची थी कौन सा लिखूंगा कौन सा नहीं, फिर उसको समझा कि ये लिखना है, मेरे साथ एक ऐसा हुआ था, तो उसको एडिट किया, और भैया दीदी भैया की भी मदद ली, उसके बाद ये कहानी छपी थी।
It was a classroom activity that a teacher, Lata,
Yes.
Lata, Indrasen's teacher in class 8, she has just asked an event that has stayed in your mind, good, bad, happy, sad, any kind of event that has stayed in your mind, and kind of write about that. And so Indrasen remembered an incident from जब तू 10 साल का था, तो वो उसने लिखा, and then there was a lot of work that happened with the story. So it's not the first draft, the second draft. So also, how do we edit our stories? How do we treat ourselves as writers? So then we take this work seriously also. It's not that everything is excellent in one go. But the more we read also, the more we realize, oh, good writing looks like this. So uska bhi, the teacher is also working and scaffolding that journey for the student in that process, right? So, and कि अच्छा इसको और डिटेल्स याद करो, फिर उसको जोड़ो, वो रास्ता कैसा था उसके बारे में सोचो, तब तुम्हें कैसा फील हुआ, ये तो ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आई थिंक should we share the story right now or should we?
Can I ask a follow-up question in the sense से फिर
Yeah,
we can talk about the story.
yeah.
तो in the sense आपने जो विषय चुना कहानी के लिए, वही सब्जेक्ट आपने क्यों चुना? अगर आप उस बारे में थोड़ा हमें बता पाएंगे तो
क्योंकि
स्टोरी से कनेक्ट कर पाएंगे लोग।
क्योंकि वो घटना मेरे साथ बहुत डरावनी भी हुई थी, और मुझे याद भी था वो कभी जाने वाली नहीं थी। और मैंने सोचा कि उसको अगर कभी मैं भूल गया तो इससे अच्छा तो मैं लिख के रख लेता हूँ, फिर शायद तो
ओके, ठीक है। हाँ।
Yeah.
Okay.
Just share.
Yeah, you're sharing the screen for the story, right? Okay.
Yeah. पढ़ जोर की पढ़ना। So अभी he is only reading a part of the story to not give away the entire story. तो कुछ एक अंश पढ़ रहे हैं ना तो?
हाँ। मेरा गांव घने जंगल के उस पार बसा एक छोटा सा गांव है। मेरे गांव से करीब 5 किलोमीटर दूर कलारा गांव से साप्ताहिक बाजार लगता है। मैं अक्सर बाजार घूमने चला जाता हूँ। बाजार में घूमने खाने पीने में बहुत मजा आता है। एक बार मैं बाजार से घर लौट रहा था। उस दिन मैं देर से घर के लिए निकला। मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा था, क्योंकि जंगल का रास्ता था और मुझे पता था कि जंगल में जंगली सुअर, गीदड़, लोमड़ी जैसे जानवर रहते हैं। पापा ने भी बताया था कि एक बार उन्हें इस रास्ते में तेंदुआ मिला था। जंगल का रास्ता लाल मुर्रम की पगडंडी का सकरा रास्ता था। रास्ता है। दोनों तरफ कटीले तारों की बाड़ लगी हुई है, ताकि खतरनाक जंगली जानवर बाहर ना आ सके। जंगली जान जंगली जानवर के अलावा एक डर और था कि आगे की नदी में पूर न आ जाए। ये सोच सोच कर मेरी हालत पतली हुई जा रही थी। बहुत डरावने ख्याल आ रहे थे। मैं तेज तेज कदमों से चल रहा था, ताकि रात होने के पहले घर पहुंच जाऊं। तब तक शाम हो चुकी थी और तेज हवाओं के साथ बिजली भी चमक रही थी। मैं अभी भी घर से काफी दूर था। मैं आधे रास्ते पहुंचा ही था कि बारिश होने लगी। मैं तेज भागा। धीरे धीरे रा धीरे धीरे रात भी हो रही थी। बारिश और तेज हो गई। डर के मारे मैं रोने लगा। मैं डरता डरता आगे बढ़ता गया। अब तक तो पूरी घूप रात हो चुकी थी। जब तक नदी के करीब पहुंचा तो मेरा शक शक यकीन में बदल गया। नदी में बाढ़ आ चुकी थी। पुलिया के ऊपर से नदी तेज बहाव के साथ बह रही थी। मैं और तेज रोने लगा, लेकिन क्या फायदा, वहां मेरा रोना सुनने वाला कोई नहीं था।
उतना ही।
नहीं क्या और कोई
So yeah, we'll stop here. But this is a story called Ghar Ka Rasta. And it's from his life of going to the weekly haat alone and then trying to find his way back. Yeah.
If I may ask a question, अगर मैं एक सवाल पूछ सकती हूँ आपसे, इस बुक को पुट टुगेदर करने में पूरा साथ में ड्राइंग राइटिंग के साथ वो प्रोसेस, अगर आप एक दो लाइन बोल सकते हैं उसके बारे में।
तो मैंने तो सिर्फ कहानी लिख के मेरी दीदी को दी थी। उसके बाद मुझे नहीं पता कि किसने क्या किया, लेकिन बिरजू भैया का बहुत बड़ा साथ था, उन्होंने किया था।
Hmm.
हम्म।
या सो बेसिकली जैसे हर समय इतनी सारी कहानियां क्लासरूम्स में से निकल रही होती हैं, तो ऐसे ही द टीचर हु वाज फैसिलिटेटिंग दिस, लता, शी हैड शेयर्ड दिस स्टोरी एंड many stories in a file of excellent stories that have come from the classroom. And then one illustrator, Gagan, who kind of worked with this story, brought it to life. Then it went back and forth ki, is it similar to how Indra Sen imagined the forest? Is it not similar? So the one of our publications team member, Brajesh, he was part of that process of curating this story together. and then what rounds of edits Lata did with Indrasen, then it went back. So that it was a long process. This is part of a set of books by Muskan called Pado Rakho Shrinkla, Pado Rakho series. So these are all stories that are published in black and white and in leaflet size. So, so the idea is also that often we think that, you know, all children's literature has to be very high quality, very colorful, uh, big sized books. But reading and writing is happening in various ways. And the investment in producing a book, which is, you know, 200 GSM paper and very big size, layout, etc., is sometimes required, but sometimes we also need a lot of stories that we can afford and that we can use quick. पढ़ो और रखो, जल्दी से पढ़ेंगे, जल्दी से रखेंगे. So short stories that we can quickly read in the library that are from our everyday life. So there are like 24 such stories in that set. This is one kind of books. This length kind of lends itself also to this leaflet format. But ऐसे और किताबों का मतलब the calm that happens with the story depends on what form it will take, that story will take finally. But yeah, so there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of iteration, which also makes this work very long. We are able to publish very few books because of the time that it takes and the care that goes in it. But it's still worth like doing that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Ragini and Indrasen. Rigzin, same question. How have your students been a part of creating such stories?
Yeah, so we started off with reading a lot of book, obviously, right? We were definitely first, like, it was not our like end goal to like have a story published, you know. We have a module called Ladakh History and Storytelling. That's been a module, you know, like since our first year. And last year, our student had gone to interview elders, and our education model is intergenerational, which means our students learn with the elders in the village, and we don't have a teacher per se, right? So our elders are our teachers. So last year our students had gone to you know, villages, and they had you know, heard about like lots of stories, and they present it in the form of a presentation. And this year, in the middle of the, you know, like the year, we had gone again for our another module, and that's they heard like a lots of stories. And they made a documentary film out of it. And then it became really interesting for like the learners also to document in different so sorry. It became really interesting for them to like express and showcase what they are doing in different formats, like through documentary filmmaking and then presentation. This year, we had lots of you know, villagers come into our learning center, and they had also gone to the village, and they heard a lot of stories. Now, what we did is we started you know, like using them as a base to, you know, like write. So our book is not published yet, but this is the cover. I don't know if you can see Magic in the Mountains. It's also drawn by one of our learners. And I'll just like show, like quickly show, it's not like a published thing, but these are the stories. The Giant Eagle. It's a mix of like what they have heard from the elders, but also like they have fictionalized it. So this is a story. And they have just like, you know, done the illustration, and we have just like put it like this, and some have like, some are just like pure. So these so yeah, this is how like they have heard the stories, and they've started writing. And we, of course, we had lots of sessions on stories, the elements of stories and all of that. And these are basically, you know, like oral stories that they have heard from the villagers. And this book has 12 stories, 4 parts, and it's all divided into whether it's folk tales or it's adventure or it's like some random flying bags and pencils and all of that. So it has like different stories from the first story is about the first time the aeroplane came in Ladakh. It's about that. So it's really interesting how like children have gone all the way to listen to these stories from the elders and then fictionalizing also, or some have just like written pure fiction stories, but that's been the process for us.
Thank you. I'm hearing a lot about how students have put their own opinions, their own feelings, but also what they've heard, what they've lived through. And last question before we open it up for questions, because both of you have used a lot of stories in the classroom and contextualized stories. What has the impact been of using such stories? I think we've talked about it a little bit, but if you want to add in a little bit more detail, or Indrasen, आप भी बता सकते हैं कि ऐसी कहानियां पढ़ने लिखने में आप पे क्या असर हुआ है? How do you feel? So yeah, impact on students in the classroom on using these stories.
Rigzin, you want to share first? Since
Um,
we're in the
yeah,
middle of
I can
writing.
share with an example. Just quickly going to show. So this is one of the illustrations from the book. Like this is my own book. This is called Sonam Goes Sicketing. So we introduced this book, not really introduced, it's like in the library, so they just pick it. And I think partially also because they see my name and they are like, oh, you've written it. So just out of curiosity, they want to pick this up. But what I have noticed is when they see these familiar, like the sky, right, like the mountains, or like the home, like the structures, right, the stupa, they immediately kind of like, first the motivation to read also just sparks, like once they see some, oh, this must be something because I know these places, like some would just like uh actually start telling about their own like place, their own village. Actually, we have lots of stupa in my village, so that becomes like a conversation point also, amongst them also. Sometimes they would just close the book and they have got a point to discuss, and they would just like discuss about like the whole Sikhi, this book is basically about Sikhiting, is called skating, in Ladakh. So in the villages, Sikhi is skating is like a big thing in, used to be a big thing in winter, right? And we used to ski a lot, and we used to also make our ski. Like, so you don't have like a very sophisticated ski, skate boot and all, boots and all of that. We used to prepare it, and just whatever metal we find, we just bind it and then we use it. And it is like the lifeline of, like, and winter is like really harsh in Ladakh. So that's something we do that used to keep us like really warm and just fun and joyful and everything. But due to like nowadays, due to climate change, and there's no snow at all. There's like literally it snowed like twice in my village or something this year. So there's no ice to play also. So with this book also, we wanted to also talk about these things, and I see that they are able to actually relate that, like, oh yeah, we never noticed. And it's not just with the children, also, the conversation has, the adults also talk about these things, about how even seemingly as simple as childhood can be impacted by as serious as global warming and stuff like that. So I feel that one, relatability, like when they are able to relate, they are able to like just naturally drawn to reading. Second thing, it just becomes a point of conversations for everyone, like, no, 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 my grandmother wears like blue cap, and all of that. So they just like talk a lot and take reference. So yeah, and I think like one of the also important thing is it brings conversations and things that might not really come up, in the general conversation when you are reading.
Thank
Akshi,
you.
I know we're sorry to interrupt you. I know we're opening up to questions, but Rigzin, is there a snippet you'd want to read to us from maybe the new book?
From the, sorry?
Anyone you pick.
Um, Sure. So yeah, I can do it. So it's about this boy. I won't give it away if anyone wants to read later, but it's about this boy. But I really like this page, and it really is close to my heart. And um, it says that Sonam sits beside Abile. Abile is grandmother, and there's a glossary, in the end also, and ask, Abile, when will our village stream freeze? I can't wait to go to Sikkiting. So Sonam is asking his Abile, when will the village stream freeze? And then um, Abile sets her spindle aside and responds, the stream should have frozen by now. Abile remembers her childhood when mountains were whiter, glaciers were covered under thick snow blankets, and winters longer. So this really brings the contrast between how mountains and the Himalayas used to be, many, many years back, and how it is now. But it also shows a beautiful intergenerational bonding between a grandmother and a grandson. So that's one of my favorite, I think, um, yeah, favorite. And this is beautifully illustrated by my friend Stanzin. He's also from Ladakh, and we met when he was a student, and I was visiting his university, and he just came up to me, and then I really want to work, and then we just started that. I actually have a story, and that's how it became like, and he's done fabulous job in like just bringing the essence of Ladakh in this, through this book. So I'm really grateful to him.
Thank you so much for that, Rigzin. Akshay?
Yeah, I wanted to, because I know Ragini and Indrasen had something to share. I want to hear from them, and then we'll open the space for questions. Yeah.
तो जब अब हमारी क्या होगी
हमारे में
हाँ जब अपनी कहानी पढ़ते हैं तो मोटिवेशन भी मिलता है कि अगर मैंने एक कहानी लिखी तो और भी लिख सकता हूँ, और दूसरों को सुनाता हूँ तो वो भी सोचते हैं कि हाँ मैं भी कर सकता हूँ, और वो भी लिखते हैं लेकिन अच्छी नहीं होती, फिर मैं उनको भी बताता हूँ कि हाँ ऐसे करना है, ऐसे नहीं करना है, ऐसे लिखना है। तो मोटिवेशन आता है एकदम, और पढ़ने का भी इच्छा होता है कि हाँ ये अपनी कहानी है तो अपन कैसे भी पढ़ सकते हैं और किसी को भी सुना सकते हैं।
हम्म, पोंगल के बारे में भी बताओ।
हाँ, और मुझे एक कहानी अच्छी लगती है, पोंगल। तो वो कहानी है, मतलब बड़े समुदाय पे है, और वो छोटे समुदाय रहते हैं। उन जो है वो है ना, उनके लिए कुछ पोंगल होता है। पोंगल एक क्या होता है कि
त्योहार है ना।
हाँ, पोंगल एक त्योहार होता है। जो छोटे घर के होते हैं वो उनके लिए कुछ खाने पीने का लेके जाते हैं, मुर्गा मुर्गे और जो जो भी होता है। पर लेकिन जो बड़े घर के होते हैं ना, वो उनको बोल देते दूरी रख दो ना, उनको छूने देते ना कुछ करने देते। वो दूरी रख के चले जाते हैं, और उनको थोड़ा सा वो चावल देते हैं, वो जो बड़े घर वाले होते हैं। तो इसमें ऐसे लगता है कि छुआछूत बहुत होता है, और ऐसे में बहुत मेरे साथ भी बहुत बार हुआ है। मतलब जब मैं स्कूल में भी था तब भी हुआ था। तो अजीब सा ही लगता है, लेकिन फिर अपन इधर मैं मुस्कान में आया तो तब से मेरे साथ कभी नहीं हुआ।
या मतलब आई थिंक इंद्रसेन ये भी बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि कई बार कहानियां एग्जैक्टली हमारे संदर्भ की नहीं भी होती हैं, लेकिन जैसे पोंगल की द स्टोरी विच इज बाय बामा एंड हैज बीन पब्लिश्ड एज अ इलस्ट्रेटेड बुक इन बाय मुस्कान, is set in a village in Tamil Nadu, and might feel like that exact ritual doesn't happen in our context, but that feeling of of not being heard, of not being seen as dignified and as people with agency, as individuals, equal individuals, is something that carries through across contexts. So it's not that contextual means that exactly everything has to be matching with the particular context of the reader, but that there is an experience of power that has transcended contexts here, and stories become an opportunity to discuss those. So in for जब इंद्रसेन पोंगल पढ़ता है तो फिर वो याद करता है कि स्कूल के क्या क्या ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं मेरे, कि मैंने क्यों तब स्कूल जाना मेरा मन नहीं करता था, या अब मैं लाइफ में कहाँ देखता हूँ, सड़क पे, शहर में ये कैसा दिखता है. So it becomes an opportunity for more stories to come up. A story sparks more stories. So both as mirrors where we feel affirmed that ये हमारी कहानी है, ये तो मेरी बात है, ये तो जिस तरीके की जबान है ये तो मैं बोलता हूँ. Or what Rigzin was saying, that these stupas are from my landscape. So both in that kind of way, but also as windows into other cultures that feel like we can interact with them, that we can experience them as well. So I think those are the impacts, and many such small experiences come up in the classroom every day. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rigzin, Ragini, and Indrasen. I am taking away so many different ideas and reaffirming a lot of things that I had believed in. Thank you so much. We'll take questions. Actually, there were a few questions in the chat. I'll bring up one that was very interesting by Aman. How does the grammar of or language or dialect play a role in the kids' storytelling or writing? And if there are mistakes, it's okay, but what's the right approach when you're writing, especially if it's related to grammar? Yeah. If anybody wants to take
I hope he'll reach out to some other thing. ठीक है यार भार्गवी. I'll just come in 5 minutes. No? I'll just.
I would love for Muskan Books to, I think, since you've published a lot of books, I would love to also know about that.
Yeah. No, I was checking with Indrasen if he wants to respond, but a lot of times, there are some turns of phrases or some ways of speaking that, if you try to standardize them, if you try to bring them into the Manak Bhasha, the pure language, English, Hindi, whatever it is, they will not go through. Because it's not that language is only a medium of communicating ideas, but language is also socially located, politically located. It's also representing ways of knowing and being, right? So, I mean, this is always a question that comes up with teachers especially, कि ये ऐसे क्यों लिखा है? जैसे कि अगर ये कहानी भोपाल में सेट है, या मान लो ये कहानी रायपुर में सेट है, तो इसमें छत्तीसगढ़ी लहजा क्यों आ गया है? Why is तो will we call it Hindi or will we not call it Hindi? But I mean, the room to play with this question of standard language in rich literature is also immense. So for instance, just as an example, I'm thinking that when we try to take a story which has been written in the context of rural Tamil Nadu, and also in Tamil Nadu, there are so many Tamils that are spoken, so it's not like one language represents one state. Similarly, I'm sure in Ladakh, different regions, like languages change every few 100 kilometers, and we all know that. So if we translate a story like that to Hindi, then how do we retain the flavor and the meanings of that original language that the author had intended, but also make it understandable for different readers in a different context? So this question of standardization of language is a very tricky one, and it's not got very clear answers. But this we understand that the more like the way we speak has so many flavors of languages depending on where we are and what experiences we've had, and can literature also reflect that plurality of voice? That is always an aim that we kind of work with. So as teachers, we might be very quick to take the red pen and be like, this is not how it is said. But also, in the way that it is being said, there is something else that is being said, and how can we keep that alive in our editing processes and in the way we translate books and so on as well? Yeah, so not a very clear answer, but to move away from this idea of the correct and the incorrect, or the pure and the impure, and the standard and the deviant. Yeah.
I think the answer is also open to contextualization. But yeah, sorry, I heard a question.
Yeah, I asked the question. Like, I think I completely understand. It cannot have a specific answer because it's such a wide spectrum. And I think according to the context we have to find where the kind of kids, the kind of region we are, and then deciding. But a very specific question, because it's related to maybe what I will be prototyping soon, because I want my reading classes to be, let's say we ask them to write a story. First, do a reading session, and then we ask them to write a story after, studying. So after doing the reading session, and I want it to be like in the mix of Hindi and a local dialect called Garhwali in Uttarakhand. So I personally want them to use both, because I think we do that orally. So why not in a written way as well? So and now the specific question would be like, should we then motivate the teachers not to use the red pen when that happens? How do we convince them not to use a red pen when that's happening? I know it's again a tricky, maybe something I will have to prototype. But again, if anything comes in your mind, like how would you deal with this situation?
I mean, I'm thinking that we write when we write, we are also writing from both our life and our experiences, but we're also writing from what we have read. That is our example, like what Rigzin was emphasizing. And there's a lot of reading that prepares writers. So if in our classrooms, our idea is that lakkad nahi lakdi bolte hain, so then the student will also write in pure ways. So I think it's part of the instructional pedagogical journey also to keep bringing in these multiple languages, what we call dialects, but to see them all as valuable languages and not like as less superior and more superior type of languages. And if that's part of our everyday conversation, life, what we reprimand students on, etc., then of course it will seep into the writing. Then it will not be something like you have to insert in. I think, because yeah, it should come. It will come naturally if it's part of the things that we read. So if the children's literature in our bookshelves in the classroom are using these kinds of multiplicity of languages, then they will come in our writing, I think.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your views on this.
Thank you.
Anyone else, if you have a question, or even if you want to share about the work that you've done with stories, would love for you all to come off mute and share. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Manvi. Am I audible? So,
Yeah.
I recently got interested in children's literature, and that surprisingly happened because there was a huge personal thing that happened, which, sort of like dysregulated me entirely. And at that point of time, the only thing that I could cognitively consume, which would also feel like a balm, was children's literature, because it's so full of hope and it's so beautiful and it's so easy to read. But I was just wondering, since both Ragini, all three of you actually, Ragini, Indrasen, or Rigzin, all of you are into this field. Do you have specific authors or specific books that inspire you, that you keep going back to, or that you remember reading first and feeling very excited by? So just a few recommendations, if that is okay on your end.
I can go. So there's a book called We Are Water Protectors by Michaela Gode. I don't know how to pronounce, so I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing right. She is an illustrator from Alaska, and that was the first book I saw. And you can clearly see that my own book is also like, it has a very massive like blue color, and it was also inspired by We Are Water Protectors. Like it's a massive like blue cover book. And she also has a book, Berry Song, and these are like some of the books that I really enjoyed reading. I have them and I just keep it in front of me all the time, and I love it. And there's this book called The Dot. That's also one of my favorites. And I've started reading a lot of like Ladakhi authors, and we are trying to like make like or kind of a group of sort of Ladakhi authors. So I've been enjoying their stories as well.
That's amazing. Thank you, Rixin. Ragini, Indrasen, anything to add?
तो
कोई कहानी जो तेरे को बहुत इंस्पायरिंग लगती है, जो तू वापस पढ़ना चाहता है?
एक कहानी विद्रोह की छप छप। उसमें टीचर होती है और बहुत सारे बच्चे होते हैं। टीचर होती है और बहुत सारे बच्चे होते हैं। जो बच्चे होते हैं, एक पौंड पौंड होता है जो उसमें नहाने जाते हैं, और जो एक जहाँ के अंकल होते हैं वहां से भगा देते हैं। लेकिन जो क्या बोलते हैं तो
हाँ, डबरी को।
हाँ, डगरी। एक डगरी होता है, उसको उसमें नहाने नहीं देते। और वो जाते हैं, सब इकट्ठा होते हैं एक साथ, सुबह सुबह से उठ के नहा के धो के जाते हैं। और फिर वो जाते हैं और सब इकट्ठा होके जहाँ से पानी आता है ना, वहां उसको रोक देते हैं और किसी को पानी नहीं पीने देते, गाँव गाय में को, और किसी जाने पानी नहीं जाने देते खेत में। और वो उसके बाद जो वहाँ के गांव वाले होते हैं, फिर वो वहाँ के बोलते हैं कि तुम ये क्यों कर रहे हो। फिर वो बच्चे बोलते हैं कि हमने भी तो साथ दिया था ये इसको बनाने के लिए, हमने भी तो पत्थर उठा के लाए थे। और
तो तेरे को ये कहानी क्यों पसंद है पढ़नी?
क्योंकि दिल से बच्चे बच्चे कितने हैं, दिल से प्यार रखा होगा।
You've trapped Indrasen. So the story he's talking about is also one of my favorite stories. Vidroh ki Chap Chap मेरी भी सबसे favorite है. In English it's called The Uprising. So Vidroh is rebellion. Ki Chap Chap, the splish splash of rebellion. It's written by Ringchin and is an author, and it's illustrated by Lokesh Khodke, and it's a beautiful story of how a group of children come together to protest something that they feel has been unjustly done to them. And and the teacher, it's been written in the voice of the teacher because Rinchin has written from her own position. So also as adults, when we write children's literature, what positionality do we write from? It raises, it's a very layered story and also a very fun story. And जिस भी संदर्भ में I have read that story, अपन के भोपाल के स्कूल में या हिमाचल के स्कूल में कहीं पे भी, वो it always raises some very interesting conversations and questions. And I think that's the true test of, the stories that you want to keep coming back to as well. So, yeah, so The Uprising or Vidroh Ki Chap Chap is one of my favorites. And I hope, Manvi, you enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah, I really liked listening to both these suggestions. Thank you so much, guys.
thank you.
Thank you, Indrasen. बहुत अच्छी कहानी थी.
Yukti, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, hello everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for sharing your insights on story writing. And so I work with grade 1 and grade 2 kids, and I just wanted to know, like, as an educator and as a literacy teacher, like what expectation should I have from a picture book when I'm encouraging students to draw their own stories? What kind of expectation should I have? Because they do come up with a lot of different kinds of stories, but then it's difficult for me to at the end of it find the elements in the story, and sometimes, or should I just leave it how the student has presented it to me? So what expectations can I have in that aspect?
Yukti, do you mean in choosing stories for your classroom?
No, not in choosing stories. When I encourage students to write their own stories, to make their own picture stories, what are some expectations that I can have as a teacher in the story? Because when we do the editing process or the first draft, second draft process, what are some kinds of feedback points of feedback that I can choose to give them on? Because clearly they're not right now at the age where they can frame proper English sentences or Hindi sentences. I teach in Kamal Vidya Niketan. It's an Adivasi area, so Hindi is also a difficult language for them to grasp very quickly. So
So Yukti, I can just share what we have been doing, and also might not also like, because it also depend on depends on the context, and also like the kind of program you are running, right? And more than context, I think it also depends on what are you trying to achieve, or like what's your end goal, right? So for our younger kid, like learners, we do not have like a story writing right away. It's a lot for them, like in the beginning right away. If you just ask them to read a lot of books and then ask them to write, instead what we do is we use different modalities, to introduce elements of stories. So we have been doing characters for like many like sessions now. So once we read a book, and we introduce a character, they make character on stone also, and
Okay.
they become characters also. So we use different modalities to just introduce characters. Once they are like once they really understood like what character is in a story, then they just make or write or draw their character. That's it, right? So it really depends, and then slowly then we become then we go on setting, right? And then we walk around the village, and then they identify different settings. So and similarly, and they watch a movie and they identify different settings in that movie. So that's how we introduce different modalities to introduce different character, like different elements of the stories. And we haven't even started like writing the full blown story with sentences, but we have wordless like books or pictures that tells a lot. So we have been doing that, and our learners have produced wordless picture book sort, which is like tiny, but then it's really meaningful, and really captures what they are trying to convey. So I would say that it really depends on the end sort of goal of the learners and yours collectively, right? If you want to like have a wordless, that could be done like in that could be done like very easily, even though there's no like language or vocabulary thing that is going on as well.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think what Rigzin said, uh, these are some things I've observed teachers in the Muskan school also do with grades 1, 2. So basically using a lot of illustrations and a lot of stories are always being told. They might not have the capacity and the skill to be able to write it in the ways that adults would want, full sentences and all that. But they have many stories to tell. So can we use pictures and illustrations and them illustrating their stories as part of the writing process? And that's what emergent writing. That's like all stories kind of start from there as well, no? So and a lot of conversations, a lot of building stories together. Storytelling is also part of those activities. So yeah, I think it also depends on what is happening in the rest of the day for them to come to writing, and therefore the kind of classrooms they're part of and libraries they're part of. I'm thinking also of, so there's one book by Jane Sahi called In Our Own Words, which is all about children's writing and how to encourage that across different age groups and different and age sometimes matches with the writing journeys we are. Sometimes it doesn't neatly overlap. So different kinds of writers, emergent writers, beginner writers, mature writers, and so on. So you could maybe look into that book also, Jane Sahi, In Our Own Words. I'll put it in the chat.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, we're coming to an end of the conversation. In this end, Ragini, Rigzin, Akshi, thank you so much for doing this. I think there were some such great snippets that you mentioned about the process of actually writing the stories. In the sense, आपने जो कहानी का subject चुनने का जो moment बताया, which was that it was so scary कि मैं भूलना नहीं चाहता था, तो मैंने उसको publish कर दिया. It was lovely to see your perspective. And Rigzin, the techniques also and the kind of approaches you mentioned, that if we don't have the resources to actually write and produce contextual stories right now, हम existing stories को कैसे बच्चों के लिए relevant बना सकते हैं, उनका नाम change करके, उनके locality का नाम शायद उन कहानियों में डाल के. And I am so grateful that you brought this together, and to everyone in the audience who engaged. Folks, we're ready to close. Again, Ragini, Indrasen, Akshi, Rixin, and everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for joining in. On your way out, there is a poll on your screen. Please do fill it as you step out, and have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले, बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया.